He's really the man at the center of so much of what we've been talking about. He knows the inner workings of the Hillary Clinton email investigation, of her exoneration. He was there side by side with James Comey at the time. He then moved right from that into the heart of the Russia probe. And we now know that members of his team were so biased against the president that they had to be removed from the special counsel's team, part of this whole thing. So what happens now? Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley says that he believes that McCabe, quote, ought to be replaced because of all this. And we also know that today they were discussing, no doubt, the cryptic text messages of the former fellow investigator Peter Strzok. Here's Congressman Jim Jordan laying into Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein last week. Watch this.
This is a text message from Mr. Strzok to Ms. Page, recalling a conversation and a meeting that took place in Andrew McCabe's office, Deputy Director of the FBI, recalling a meeting earlier. And Mr. Strzok says this: I want to believe the path you threw out for consideration in Andy's office. Then there's a break. Dash, it says that there's no way he gets elected, no way Trump gets elected. He says, I want to believe that. You said that in the meeting in Andrew McCabe's office. I want to believe that. But then he goes, but I'm afraid we can't take that risk. Now, this goes to intent.
So that's one of the big questions with regard to Peter Strzok, who, as is put in that text message, was in Andy's office, believed to be Andy McCabe, who's in there now. Jordan and other Republicans are demanding subpoenas for Strzok, for his lover, Lisa Page, also Bruce and Nellie Orr, who are married. Bruce Orr has been demoted in his role in the special counsel investigation. His wife, Nellie, worked for Fusion GPS. So as you can see, it's a pretty tangled web that has been woven here. Here now, Congressman Andy Biggs and Matt Gaetz. Both are on the House Judiciary Committee, and both have called for the resignation of Robert Mueller in this investigation. Gentlemen, welcome. Good to have you here tonight.
Thank you.
Let me start with you, Congressman Gaetz. You know, your thoughts on what likely transpired in there today. It's a classified briefing, so it's limited in terms of what we know at this point.
Well, we have to remember this is the very same Andrew McCabe who sent the emails designating the Hillary Clinton investigation as special and different than would apply to any other American. And then, as you correctly noted, the very scheme that was hatched by Peter Strzok and his mistress, Lisa Page, seems to have been hatched in Andy McCabe's presence. And so this is a very critical witness for us to be able to get to the bottom of this information. I don't want this testimony to just occur behind closed doors. One of the things Congressman Biggs and I are fighting for are subpoenas so that before the Judiciary Committee and all of the American people, we can get answers to these questions, expose the bias that we know exists, and ensure that we have a rule of law that we can rely on again in this country.
Yeah, so one of the things that we've seen a lot is calling for subpoenas and then no teeth behind it. It doesn't actually happen. Now, Chairman Goodlatte has said that he will subpoena these individuals. Can you update us on that? Is that actually going to happen this time, Congressman Biggs?
Yes, it's my understanding that they'll be subpoenaed. They'll have to come in. If they fail to come in, we can go to a federal district court and get them held in contempt. And the reality is we need them to come in. The American people need them to come in because the bias is so palpable. It's so real. And you know, when that happens, nobody believes that anybody's going to get a fair investigation in any level. So it just begins stinking from top to bottom. And that's not the way for this good agency to be. We need to get rid of the bad apples in there, and we need them to come testify how they were trying to influence, whether it's the Hillary investigation, and that goes back years, as well as the election itself.
Congressman Gaetz, what about Christopher Wray, the new head of the FBI? And the Judiciary obviously has oversight of the Justice Department and of the FBI, which is an integral part of that as well. You know, are you going to be speaking with him further about moves that you would like to see take place at the FBI so that they can remove themselves, this cloud from over their organization?
Well, absolutely. This is about more than Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. We need to ensure that we have an FBI going forward that is transparent, that is subject to sufficient oversight and redundancies to ensure that we know what's going on. We never again want to be in a situation where you get an egomaniac FBI director like James Comey who can totally depart from standard procedures in one investigation and then can create an environment where a pro-Hillary bias can exist, and then right on the back of it, the very people executing on the pro-Hillary bias end up working working on the investigation, persecuting President Trump with this very anti-Trump bias that is totally indefensible. It's one of the reasons why the American people agree with us. Harvard University just released a poll showing that 54% of Americans agree that the Mueller probe is biased, and these people were acting on plans to discredit the duly elected president of the United States. That's what we have to stop.
Yeah, those polls are problematic because everyone needs to have confidence in this process because the stakes are enormously high for the president of the United States and the people that worked with him. So, Congressman, both of you, thank you very much. Good to see you tonight.
Thanks,
Good to see you.